Censorship continues to be the hot button topic because it doesn't matter what country you live in, Australia, Canada, the EU as a whole, the UK, or yes, even America. We've got governments just clamoring and chomping at the beat to perform any sort of mass censorship they can. But then you got the worldwide level that is the payment processors, the ones that supersede the governments because they can just shut off entire games, entire anime, entire manga, whatever it be, at a whim without consulting any sort of government. And that's what we're seeing happen yet again with 2 Japanese games being banned from Steam. Payment process behind this, collective shout. Let's find out. Welcome back to Words of Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idle. And yes, Chibi Reviews brought this out. Steam bans Japanese games permanently. Payment processors involved. Well, I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever if the payment processors were involved because, I mean, look at it. It's Steam. We all remember the collective shout nonsense. We all know what the Karens were doing, but frankly, it goes well beyond them. I could tell from this thumbnail alone, from this image alone, you got this little Japanese fucking anorexic thing. I can already tell you it wouldn't be a game I'd play. Certainly wouldn't be a game I would play. But does it have the right to exist? Well, as long as it's legal, then yes. So in the countries, in the counties, in the regions where this would be okay, there shouldn't be any reason. But I'm jumping the gun. I don't know. So we're going to go through this. Before we do, hit that subscribe button. I'm a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news every day. And yes, let's check it out.
Review process that even seems to target Japanese people, girl protagonist ADV Inner Truth and girl photography SLG Lover R Kiss Endless Memories simultaneously removed from Steam. Then we had an official announcement from the company. To all of you eagerly awaiting the release of Lover Kiss Endless Memories, currently the Steam version store page is not viewable. Due to various circumstances, it has become difficult to release on the Steam platform.
And what's the alternative? What is the alternative? I mean, I guess GOG, maybe? They take it to GOG? I don't know if GOG would take this sort of game. We know the payment processors come from itch.io as well, and also this is, it seems to be, is Dragon Me Games official. I mean, I don't know how big a team this is or anything, but it would even be worth taking it to itch.io. It wouldn't matter if it was or not. Payment processors attack that as well. What alternative do they even have? They can't release it physically. Physical media is dead.
However, we are preparing to deliver the PC version on a different platform, as soon as the details are finalized. We will formally announce it, so we will kindly ask for your patience in awaiting further updates. We will continue to strive to meet everyone's expectations, so please continue to look forward to Lover Kiss Endless Memories. So let's get into the whole bombshell of what's going on here. So, for those that need a brief rundown, a quick summary to kind of get everybody up to speed, Collective Shout, a feminist activist organization from Australia, contacted payment processors like Visa, Mastercard, PayPal, and various other credit card, debit card companies. Upon them contacting the payment processors, these payment processors decided to say, look Steam, look itch, if you don't remove these thousands of games and basically make thousands of creators lose any source of revenue and money overnight, we're going to blacklist your companies. We're going to
Now, that is correct in the short version. However, here's one problem. Here's one problem that Chibi does and a lot of people have been doing, and I feel like it's very important to point out. So if you've watched me for a while, you know what I'm going to say. But frankly, I've gotten a lot of new subscribers and new viewers lately. Shout out. Thank you so much to all you that are new here. So I feel like this is a point that might be new to some people. Collective Shout, and this is not defense of them, aren't the big bad evil guys. Now, they are bad guys. They're certainly evil guys, but they're not the big bad. Because let me posit to you. Let me ask you a question. What does some random nobody feminist group in Australia, what sort of power do they have that they can contact these payment processors and the payment processors affect this sort of stuff for Steam and itch.io and whatnot globally? In Australia, it makes sense. The feminist group got some Australia government backing, which they do. We've looked into that before, by the way, on streams a couple months ago when this all went down. Yes, they do have the backing of certain members of the Australian government. But what power would they have to affect what's sold on Steam in, let's say, the United States or Canada or the EU as a whole? They should have none. They're a nobody feminist group from Australia. No. Collective Shout, bad guys as they are a front. They are a distraction tool. They are a front from something or someone amorphous behind the scenes that is bigger, that does have the clout, that wants to see the stuff censored worldwide. So yes, while Collective Shout is where the story was focused for a long time, that is, at least in my opinion, a distraction.
blacklist your sites, and you're no longer going to be able to make money. And to kind of emphasize the damage this would cause, basically, imagine if the entire platform of Steam, or itch, or whatever, or any company, honestly, you no longer could have credit cards or debit cards processed. You no longer could use your Visa card and make a purchase of a game. Imagine if you could no longer buy Minecraft, GTA, whatever. You just couldn't buy anything on a platform because that credit card, debit card company, payment processors pulled out completely, effectively killing your entire company. So even Steam had to bow down and kiss the very boot of payment processors because of just how powerful they are. And literally in under a night, thousands upon thousands of games were lost, causing a lot of damage. And to this very day, there's a lot of creators and developers, artists, and everybody that is suffering thanks to what payment processors and Collective Shout has done to them.
Now, all that being said, let's go off of just the image we have here. Like, just this little image we have here looks like some little Japanese girls prancing about. Now, I can already tell you, if this is one of them gooner games, I'm not using that as a pejorative, you know, we all gooners here, we all proud, but you know what I'm talking about. If this is one of those, like, explicitly over-the-top sex games, I ain't about that life, I don't like it. I wouldn't play it. That being said, should it exist? Does it have the right to exist? Absolutely. Why? Because it's legal. Because it's not real. And whatever is legal has the right to exist. I don't care if you like it. I don't care if you don't like it. The point is, we are anti-censorship up in this bitch. So, guess what? It's my money. If I don't want to buy it, I don't have to buy it. Just like you can choose what to buy and what not to buy with your own goddamn money. But it is not, I repeat, it is not up to these payment processors to be the global fund police, fund, F-U-N-D, although fund police as well, and tell you what you can and cannot spend your money on so long as the product is a legal product. And whether you like these sorts of gooner games or not, they are, at least here in the US, legal purchases.
But the point of the matter is that when this happened, Steam was forced to put an entirely new policy into effect to basically say, if payment processors want us to remove something, we have to remove something. We have to do it, or we effectively could lose our entire company. And this pretty much stated that these payment processors, like Visa and Mastercard, they are in so much control that not even something like Valve could even fight back against their monopoly, how much money that they actually have.
Fuck Valve! Not even the U.S. government can fight back against this, which, I mean, to be fair, the government sucks. Government's bad at everything. Government is also the bad guy. Really, this is just a war of two bad guys. You got the government, they're the bad guys. Then you got the payment processors, the bad guys. And the payment processors are an even worse bad guy than the government. I didn't know there was such a thing as a worse bad guy than the government, you know, being an anarchist and all that. But holy shit, here we are.
Yeah, because put this in perspective, basically Valve is a massive company that houses so many different games. And if they legitimately can't even take a stand for gamers, that has been very pro-consumer, pro-gamers basically for decades at this point, then it says a lot about what's currently going on. And so the issue here is that these payment processors have way too much power, and obviously it came more public knowledge in the last few months. More people became aware of Visa and MasterCard and PayPal and what they've been doing. But the point of the matter is, with the new policy, it basically meant that payment processors could pick and choose to remove games that they don't like on the platform, and Steam would have to comply. And obviously, now with those policies in effect, we have Japanese games, like for instance, Lover R Kiss Endless Memories, and another game, which, you know, I showed at the beginning of the video, Inner Truth, that was also removed from Steam simultaneously, by the way. With the articles and the sources and all that's coming out, both of these games were removed at the exact same time, which is pretty damning, pretty concerning. It pretty much emphasizes that it's the exact same reason for both of them. First off, the correlation between both of them is that there was female protagonist. Secondly, it was a game from Japan. And thirdly, it was a game that has potentially suggestive themes, but obviously it doesn't show anything. It doesn't have any NSFW, anything like that, but
I have to take his word for it, to be fair. I don't know about either of these games. I would have to take his word for it, whether or not there is anything suggestive for NSFW. That being said, even if there is, oh fucking well. So long as, again, it is legal. Look, shit can be as icky as you want it to be. I find a whole lot of shit icky. I find people cutting their cocks off and claiming to be a female to be icky. Because let me tell you, you're not. That's a mental illness. You're a dude, and I find that mental illness to be icky. That being said, doesn't matter how icky something is, so long as it's legal, you should be allowed to consume it. Now again, is it good for you? No, and I ain't gonna defend what is or isn't good for you, but you know what? We're all humans, we got free will, we can make that choice ourselves. So whether this game got NSFW stuff in it really doesn't matter to me at the end of the day. It's the principle of the matter that, at least in certain regions where it would be legal to have, because again, it isn't real, it's a video game, it's fictional, then payment processors shouldn't have a good goddamn say.
Obviously, they were instantly removed from the platform. And so, in turn, this has effectively not just damaged the release of these games, but also it has showcased another example of the systematic domino effect of censorship. Not just on Steam's platform, but on the internet, and how much effect that these payment processors actually have. It's honestly really bad, and it makes me so infuriated to see that this is continuing to happen. It's getting worse and worse, and we're seeing more and more games just pulled from Steam over and over again. The fact that we have companies officially having to talk about this and all that, it's just, it's actually so sad, because it's very obvious that this has happened thanks to payment processors. Steam didn't do stuff like this, and the fact that 2 different games was removed at the exact same time, it definitely reinforces the idea that it is payment processors. Now, I do want to, actually state this. It is not officially confirmed that it was payment processors that caused this.
Again, true. It's not been confirmed. He is correct. That being said, who else would it be? Like up until when this payment processor bogus went down a couple months ago, Steam didn't care at all about what was on the platform. So long as if it was an 18 plus game, it was marked 18 plus. That's all that mattered, son. So yeah, who was it that started doing the massive wave of online censorship? Not just for games, by the way, but for anime and for manga. What was these payment processors? It was multiple Western world governments as well, such as the EU, such as the UK, such as Australia, frankly, such as the US. But them, to a lesser extent, by comparison, when you as the payment processors have the power to shut off people's money.
But looking at everything that's happened in the last few months, and then looking at what payment processors have been doing to Japan for years now, it's not too far-fetched to assume the reason why these games were removed was because of that. So,
mind you, he says what's been happening to Japan. This has been happening, it seems, almost disproportionately to Japan. You've had, on multiple different instances, completely legal manga sites just wiped from existence because they dared house 18 plus manga. But I won't say it's not just Japan. This isn't just happening to Japanese content, because let me tell you, of all the thousands upon thousands of games removed between Steam and itch.io, trust me, they weren't all Japanese. This is certainly a problem for us Westerners as well.
To get into the crux of the issue, payment processors suck ass. I absolutely hate them. Like, seriously, they are an absolute parasite to creative expression, creative freedom, and they're continuing to get stronger and stronger and just censoring anything they possibly want and can. And the fact that we have Japanese games getting removed kind of implies that, once again, they really have something against Japan. Like, at this point, with what they've been doing to Japan for all these years now, I'm not gonna lie, it looks racist. Like, with the amount of content that they keep targeting from Japan,
I wouldn't go that far. I don't think it looks racist because, again, there's a lot of Western content being taken down as well. I mean, there's a lot of Western content being taken down as well. So no, I'm not going to jump to the race thing. At the end of the day, it's not a race thing. These payment processors, they're a global organization. They want all of us to be taken down to the same peg the world over. So really, there isn't even a benefit to them by doing this in a race-based way. So yeah, I think that's actually a really weak argument to take.
And to, like, dating apps, to anime, manga, doujins, gaming in general. It's just, like, it feels targeted. Like, it really just feels straight up targeted. And it's getting worse and more noticeable. And
see, the reason it feels targeted to Chibi is because he spends all this time making content that focuses on anime, manga, Japanese games, the whole nine. I don't think he has the perspective of taking a step out and realizing that this is an entertainment industry-wide problem the world over.
As they continue to do this type of stuff, they continue to censor content, they're making their image look worse and worse as time goes on. And it's not actually helping their brand. It's doing the exact opposite. And, I have a theory.
It doesn't matter how much damage is done to the brand. It does not matter how much damage is done to their brand. Are you going to whip out your Visa or your MasterCard and say, you know what, I don't like them as a company, so I'm getting rid of this? No, you're not. Because you got to have it. You need to have that debit card, that credit card, whatever it may be, so that you can, function. Because you got to have money to function in the real world. So yeah, all the damage can be done to their brand that they want. Nothing is going to change for the vast majority of people, because nobody's going to cancel their Visa or MasterCard, because you cannot effectively live without it.
I've been thinking about this for the last month or two, ever since I made my last video really discussing this. But I think at this point, the only way we can really counter these payment processors, besides, let's say, a lawsuit or the government stepping in, but the problem is all these governments are really embedded with these payment processors like
Correct.
Visa and MasterCard. I think,
and government's evil.
The only way to really counter this at this point is that payment processors fall on their own sword, or in this case, they cause their own problem to the point to where they no longer can get away with it. Like, for example here, let's do a hypothetical. Let's say someone like Collective Shout came around again, okay, next year, and GTA 6 was about to be released. Let's say this new group contacts payment processors, and they contact them to be like, well, how are you allowing this game like GTA on Steam, on these different sites and platforms? I could see, judging by just how they love to rampantly censor things, that they might censor the wrong thing, and it will cause a cascading effect of everybody just being outright pissed. Like, think about this.
But people being pissed doesn't matter. What matters is, does it hurt their pocketbook? And if it doesn't hurt their pocketbook, if it doesn't hurt their bottom line, then it doesn't matter. GTA 6 ain't going to get censored. All right, Collective Shout, yeah, they managed to get GTA 5 taken off of Kmart shelves back in 2013. But it's not like they got GTA 5 canceled or censored worldwide. They just got taken out of Kmart in 2013. Yeah, a W for Collective Shout, but doesn't really do anything for the payment processors the world over. So I get what Chibi is saying, but he's giving us impossible hypotheticals. No, there needs to be a... maybe there's grounds for a class action lawsuit. That I'm not sure about, but there's got to be something stronger than just a hypothetical. What if some bad actor comes out and tries to censor the wrong thing?
There was so much vocal anger towards them just taking down, basically adult-themed games from Steam and itch. Imagine if, a regular game, for instance, GTA, was removed thanks to this. The internet outrage would be astronomical. Now, I don't know if these payment processors are that stupid, but, the fact that they're doing...
No, because GTA 6 makes money. Here's the dealio. As much as we all don't want to admit it or whatnot, the sorts of games that were taken off Steam, they don't make money. Now, should they have been taken off? Obviously, I still don't believe they should have been censored, but they don't make money. Like, most of those games, you track the stats and whatnot, they got, a couple downloads. They made, a few $100. GTA 6 is going to make billions. The payment processors, the people that get a percentage any time one of their cards are swiped, yeah, they ain't gonna miss out on the billions, or at least the percentages of billions that's gonna come from the GTA 6 stuff. That logic does not hold up in the slightest.
All this for brand protection. We know they're not that smart. The real reason is they're doing all this is for control and, basically bullying people out of the business and getting what they want. But as they continue this, they're going to step on the wrong series, the wrong game or whatever, and someone's going to fight back. And if they continue doing this, that's going to happen. That will happen. That's an inevitable at this point if this continues. But regardless, it upsets me to no end seeing this type of stuff continuously happening, because even if you don't like the content that's within these games, you don't like Japanese games, you don't like, games that are meant more for adults or have suggestive content, it doesn't change the fact that they have a right to exist. They're not real. It's fictional stories, and, it's
here
the same argument like
100%
video
correct.
games cause violence. That's basically what's being done here. It's stupid. It showcases basically people being complete schizos and not understanding the difference between fiction and reality. But I'm going to leave it at that, though. I'm just wanted to bring this up to kind of shed a light on it, because I feel like a lot of people aren't aware of this. But yeah, Japan getting censored once again. You gotta love it. Obviously sarcasm there. It's just... it's bad. Anyways, you all have a fantastic day or night wherever you live. Sorry for my voice in this video. I am sick, as you could probably tell. Forgive me. But I love you guys. Chibi out.
Yep. Nope. Great video overall. I do think that he sort of falls apart. He loses it there at the end. That plan is irrational. Wouldn't work. It's so logistically out of the ordinary. But he is correct overall. This censorship is getting worse. It's getting exponentially worse. It's not just linked to Japan. It is a worldwide problem. It is a problem for the exact reason he say at the end. They want control. No matter how you slice it, that's what it boils down to. So long as that they can flex, that they have the power, so long as they can be in control, so long as we are the downtrodden individuals that don't even have the basic freedoms and liberties to choose what we spend our money on for legal products, that is a control flex. And the more power, here's the one thing, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. There will get to a point, and the problem is, how do you fight against this when it gets to this point? There will be a point when the absolute power that these payment processors get do corrupt them absolutely, to the point where they will be even a threat to these world governments. They'll be a threat to the U.S. government if they're not already. They'll be a threat to the Canadian government. I'd say they'd be a threat to the government of the UK, but the UK itself is a threat to the government of the UK. At least it will be, as long as they keep these Muslim grooming gangs running around, just taking advantage of their 9-year-old girls. That's neither here nor there. The point is, at some point, these payment processors are going to piss the wrong people off. Chibi is right about that, but it won't be the regular folk like you and I. We're going to sit here and we're going to keep making our videos, we're going to keep bitching, we're going to keep fighting against censorship, but we're not going to be the ones that end up pulling the trigger to bring this giant down. It's going to be someone with a lot of money and a lot of power, or some sort of organization with a lot of money and a lot of power, that these payment processors piss off. And that's assuming that the payment processors aren't already being backed and bankrolled by an organization or a third party like that. But these are just my opinions. Let me know yours in the comments down below. Let me know on X. You can find me at Bolt the Ward, and please do subscribe. We are a nerdy news channel. We cover nerdy news every day. Not always about video games or censorship, but anime, movies, music, Magic the Gathering, you name it. Check me out on Instagram at wordsparadise_Leon and become a member for $4.99 a month. You can join the Discord. Choose the articles we go over on a day-to-day basis. Choose the videos we react to on the daily live streams, and of course get involved with over 200 other vital idols. We are a bright, beautiful, glowing, vibrant community that I cannot wait to grow even further, because we do care about diversity. But only one kind of diversity of thought that's interesting to you. Join the Discord, subscribe, and until next time, it's all here in the Nerdosphere. This has been Words of Paradise.